the upcoming session of the South Asian University. I see some of the faces having seen earlier in my earlier avatar as Vice Chancellor of IT University, but much has changed in the 15 years after I left IT University. Friends, as you are all aware, education itself has changed like anything in the last decade or so, particularly after invent of our national education policy. South Asian University is one such experiment which is probably unique in the world, I would say, where 8 countries come together, the governments of 8 countries come together to found a university. I am not aware of any other example of this magnitude where 8 countries collaborate to found an education and research institution, which itself makes it a very great privilege for me to head that institution. Friends, the university has been in existence for about 13 years. We started with very small admission of 2 digits, probably 20s, 30s kind of thing. And today we have 600 plus students in the university. The model of the university, keeping in view the stark fundamental principles, as far as governance is concerned, all the countries have equal rights. As far as funding is concerned, India pays about 57% of the recurring share, and other countries pay a proportion to their defined shares. As far as students are concerned, we take about 50% students from India and another 40% from SAARC countries, where again it is divided 10% for this country, 10% for this country, 4% for this country, and 10% we can take outside the SAARC nations. That is our student privilege. As far as faculties and employees are concerned, we are supposed to be taking representation from all nations, and we have that to some extent. Friends, with that model being a unique model, there have been difficulties also, because when the students from other countries come, there are issues by themselves, but the university has been bravely proceeding ahead. Only thing is, for about last 4 years, there has been no president, and in that scenario, the things obviously go a little low profile, because if the institution is headless, that's bound to happen. But governing board met 2 months ago and decided to give this responsibility to me, for which I am grateful to the representatives of all the countries to allow me to head this great institution. My experience for last 2 months, less than 2 months, has been great. Faculty is superb in competence, and they can deliver wonders. And I hope very soon you will be hearing a lot of good news about the various initiatives. As far as this press conference is concerned, keeping in your time and everything, I'll be very brief on this. We have at the moment about 600 plus students in the university, and all of them are PhD or postgrad. There is no undergraduate student as of now. PhD students obviously take about 5 years of stay to complete their studies, and master students mostly 2 years to complete their education. We have 7 departments at the moment: economics, sociology, international relations, law, mathematics, computer science, and life science. So these are the 7 schools which are functioning at the moment at PG and post and PhD level. I have found out that our PhD students have found placement in almost all countries in the world. Best of the institutions in UK, in USA, and their respective countries. That makes me very confident of the potential of the university. The university was functioning from Akbar Bhavan till about a few months ago, and that was a serious limitation, because from the premises of the hotel you cannot expand too much. So that was a limitation. So number had to be limited. About 8, 9 months ago, we have shifted to our own campus. It's a beautiful campus. Government of India is responsible for the land and the building of the campus. And the Government of India has already spent about 1,200 crores on the campus in addition to the land which they have provided. We have made a beautiful campus, and hostels have yet to be built up because there was some litigation on some parts of the land, which we are now starting. But not to allow the students to suffer, we have put the students in the staff residences for the time being and asking the staff to continue to reside outside for a couple of more years before we sort out this problem. So with that background, friends, and we understand our charter is much more, because the whole philosophy and the concept of this university was that South countries do not have that much financial resources to spend in niche areas of research, each one of them separately. While each one of them requires the access to the most developed technologies, most developed pedagogies, but they will not have the resources to do that. And that is where India came forward to say, why not we pool our resources together and do that, and equally beneficial to all South nations. I again repeat, to my mind, this is probably the best case study of collaboration for any education institution in the world. And when we talk about collaboration as one of the pillars of education, this is a case study which anybody can look at. Now, friends, this year we will be continuing with all these courses. In addition, we are adding slightly to the numbers. I'm restricted to add to the numbers much more till the hostels are data, because international students we want to be put up in the hostels only, because otherwise there could be some issues. So what we have decided this year is, number one, for postgraduate students, which we were admitting about 250, 260 kind of it, against our advertisement of 400, because we have to take from each country, and each country has its own issues at times, and therefore many seats will not get filled up from other states, so other countries. So what I have decided is, instead of 400 or so, we will probably announce 600 or so that we at least make use of actual 400 numbers for which we have the infrastructure facility. As far as doctoral students are concerned, we'll continue our efforts to take about 100 fresh students this year also, in addition to what we have already. And here again, I learned there were many students who were not admitting, who were not being admitted because we did not have the scholarships to pay them. Incidentally, this university is probably the most liberal university in providing scholarships to the students. About 70% of the students studying it at South Asian University do not pay any fee and are rather given a lot of scholarships to study. So that's another very unique feature of this university, that best of the facilities, best of the faculties, and are practically very little fees, which makes it a very worthwhile proposition which we have to expand for. But I learned many students, looking to the facilities and the competence of the faculties, wanted to do research even without the fellowship. So fellowship numbers remaining as they are, we will even allow admission to some more PhD students this year if they are ready to join without fellowship, and if our faculty has the capacity to take them in. So in that light, there will be some increase. I believe this number will increase by about 200 or so. And then we are starting this year as a first experiment. MTech computer science we had, but we are now taking MTech starting from plus 2 students. But for the first time, South Asian University will enroll some plus 2 students also for BTech computer science course with niche areas of artificial intelligence and data science, etc. And these students have the opportunity to continue for MTech or take off at BTech. That's the model which we are starting. So with these two initiatives, I believe that the number of students which are in the university at about 650 50 today will become between 900 to 1,000 during the coming session. And that is what we can accommodate for the time being in our residences. And next year, when we have the hostel starting, we will probably think of increasing these numbers. We have to go to many niche areas because the concept of this university was once again, there are many areas which all these countries need to explore. For example, climate change, sustainability, disaster management, crop rotation, energy saving. These are the problems of all these countries. Why should each one of them be spending separately on that? That is the philosophy, and we'll go with full thrust on these areas. Similarly, there are areas where there are subtle differences between the countries. For example, practice of law will differ from country to country, and we have to respect that. So maybe we initiate studies to find out where are the comparative differences, and we may learn from each other and make the best of the uniqueness in the university. So, my dear friends, this is the basic empirical picture which I intend to start from this session, which starts from July. And we are conducting the entrance test in April. My colleague, Professor Jan, will explain all that in very great detail. And infrastructure-wise, I maybe you people have less time to walk to the university, but otherwise it is a treat to look at the infrastructure. And if you find time, we'll invite you one time here also to see at it. And Professor Venugopal will explain to the infrastructure in a couple of minutes. So, and also I just want to highlight because many of you might be covering, are covering international relations, but maybe covering education also. We are talking a lot about diversity. If you talk about Fieldworth ranking, PhD ranking, NIRF, whatever, diversity is given a lot of weightage because we believe in an academic world you learn from each other and you learn from differing views, you learn from dissenting views, and this university has a built-in parameter for the students, platform for the students, where they have friends from 7 countries studying with them shoulder to shoulder. So that inherent capability, which other universities are struggling to have 10% common students, we have 50% common. So that's the advantage which I like to highlight even for Indian students to opt for admissions here and be benefited. And with these few words, I think I'll stop here and answer any queries after the presentations have been made by my colleagues and look forward to your